Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. In this video tutorial I will be talking about basic Linux commands. So let us begin. You are already familiar with the echo command from my previous videos. It just displays text on the screen. So let me write the text. uh, Bob Bob loves Ria. Okay, and it just prints whatever text we are passing to the echo command. Now suppose we have two lines. Bob loves Ria, and we have another line, but Ria has a boyfriend. I guess many of you are familiar with this kind of situation. Let's stick with the tutorial. So it prints Bob loves Ria, but Ria has a boyfriend. But what if we want to print these two statements in separate lines? If you are familiar with C++ or Java or any other programming language, you might have seen the uses of \n, and adding a \n here should result in shifting this statement in the next line. But let us see what happens when we execute it. So it does nothing, it just prints the \n as well. So how can we achieve our desired result? We need to enable the interpretation of \n. To enable the interpretation of \escape sequences, you have to pass an argument with the echo command, and that argument is -e. Now we have enabled the interpretation of \n and see the result. So it prints these two statements in two separate lines. Bob loves Ria, but Ria has a boyfriend. Now let me show you another thing. Suppose we add a \n at the end as well, and since we are adding a \n at the end, after this second statement, but Ria has a boyfriend, we have a blank line because of this \n. So what if we want to remove the trailing \n's from our string? So in order to remove the trailing \n, just pass another argument \n. Now let us see the output. So it has removed the trailing \n. Now there might be a question in your mind whether you have to memorize all these arguments that you need to pass with the command. The answer is you don't have to. As Albert Einstein once said, that never memorize something that you can look up. So where to actually look up for these arguments that you need to pass with the command? The answer is the man pages. So let me show you. Type man and type the name of the command and press enter. And it opens a new window which gives a documentation about this echo command. It shows what this echo command does. It displays a line of text, and it has a description of the command and what are the arguments that can be passed, N, E and capital E and others. Okay, so you can always look up at the man pages whenever you need to know any details about any command. Okay, man pages are very helpful in many situations, and as a matter of fact you can also man about the man. This gives detail about the man command. Okay, and if you need to exit this screen, just press the Q button on your keyboard. So now let us talk about the pwd command, which gives the present working directory which you are working on. Okay, now if you want to move on to some other directory, you can use the cd command. Cd, and suppose I want to move to the desktop. It says no such directory exists because desktop is having D as capital and it is case sensitive. Okay, so we are in the desktop now, and if you want to go one step back, just type cd and give a space and give two dots, and you are again back to the place where you started. Okay, now let me show you how to make a directory. Just type the mkdir command and give any name that you want to give to your directory. For this example, I will be using test. Now let us move to test directory, cd test, and here let us create a file. You can create a file using the touch command, and let's name the file as example, and a file called example is created in this directory called test. So how do you know that whether this file is created or not, or more generally, how do we know how many files are present in this directory? So in order to list all the files present in any particular directory, just type the ls command and it will show all the files in this directory. Here in this directory we have only one file called the example. Now let us create another directory called child, and now just type ls. You see there's a file called example and there is a directory called child. The directories are highlighted in this blue color. Now suppose you want to copy this file example into this directory child. So what you can do, just type the cp command and give the name of the file which you want to copy and give the destination. So the file is copied. Let's go to child directory to see if it is actually there, and we can see the file example is here. Now suppose we want to remove this file. So in order to remove, just type the rm command and give the name of the file which you want to remove. So the file is removed. In order to check, just type the ls command and you can see there is nothing returned by the ls command because there is nothing in this child directory. Okay, now I will show you how to delete directories. We have already seen how to delete files. Now let us talk about how to delete directories. In order to delete directories, you can use the rmdir command and give the name of the directory which you want to delete, and we in this case are about to delete the test directory, and let us press enter and see what happens. And it gives an error. It says failed to remove test directory, not empty. So what to do now? This command was supposed to delete the directory but it doesn't. So in such cases where you are stuck, what I would suggest is to refer to the man pages and go to the man page of RMDIR, and you can see in the description, remove the directories if they are empty. In our example, the directory test was not empty. It had file called example. Okay, it also had a folder which is deleted. Now let me create a folder. It was child. Now, so it has a file and a folder. So if we delete the file using rm command, now test directory doesn't have any file, it just has a folder. Let us see if it can be deleted. Just go one step back and type rmdir test, and it again gives the error that directory is not empty. So we have to remove this child subdirectory inside test subdirectory as well. So what you can do is go inside the test directory and you can remove this child directory as well, and then you will be able to remove the parent directory. But that is too much work, right? Is there any better way? Yes, there is a better way, and that is written on the man pages. I will show you again. Go to the description and just read about this argument p. It removes the directory and its ancestors. Example, suppose we have a directory A which has a directory B inside it and which has a directory C inside B. Okay, so if we use this command with an argument p, it will remove the folder C along with its ancestors, which means A, B, and C all will be removed. Now let us go back to our example and see if it actually happens. So just type rmdir, pass the argument p, and give the name of your parent directory and the child directory. So let us run this, and it's deleted. Just type ls and you cannot find the test directory anywhere here. Okay, there's another thing I would like to talk about. So whenever a command is executed, it returns an exit status to the system, which tells whether the command was executed successfully or not. Let me show you what do I mean. Suppose I'm trying to remove a file which doesn't exist. rmapple, it gives an error, cannot remove apple, no such file or directory. This command throws an error, so it should return an exit status which shows that this command was not successfully executed. Okay, the exit status is returned to a variable and which is represented by question mark. Let me print that for you, and you can see it prints 1. If the value of this variable is 0, it means that the previous command that was executed was successful. If it is 1, it means, or if it is anything other than 0, it means it is not successful. Okay, now let me show you a successful command execution. Now what should be the value of question mark variable? It should be 0, right? And it is 0. Okay, so that's all in this video tutorial. Thank you. Have a great day.